Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, I thought was a very fun movie. Not my favorite of the Mission Impossible films by any stretch, but I thought it was pretty damn good. Really long title, though. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Well, the movie is now coming to Paramount Plus with a little bit of an adjustment in the title. And that is the topic of today's Mint Mobile Hotline Question of the Day. Listen, guys, if you've got a question for our show and you'd like to hear your voice on our show, go ahead and call our Mint Mobile Hotline anytime 24/7 at 951-268-4259. And today's question is specifically about Mission Impossible. Check it out.
Hey, John, this is Brian. I just read on Deadline that Paramount Plus has set the streaming premiere date for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. However, they have dropped Part 1 from the title. Do you think that they are changing the title of Part 2? And also, do you think that it's because they feel the Part 1 is what scared people off from watching the first film? Thanks, and stay filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Brian. And for those of you who missed it, Deadline did indeed report. This comes to us from Deadline. They wrote the following. Paramount Pictures' Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Notice how it just stops at that? Dead Reckoning will begin streaming on Paramount Plus on Thursday, January 25th, so next week, in the US and Canada. The film, which has a slight title tweak with Part 1 being dropped, will premiere in additional Paramount Plus international markets beginning in February of 2024. All right, let's touch on this. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong here.
You're wrong.
So quick.
But All You Need Is Kill Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Was that a Paramount release?
Yeah.
I believe so.
So Paramount has a little bit of a history of not being real committal to what they title Tom Cruise movies. Because they had this great source material, Live, Die, Repeat, or All You Need Is Kill. Very unique title, stands out, should have just kept it. Instead, they gave the movie a daytime soap opera title with Edge of Tomorrow.
Excuse me, John. It's Warner Brothers. I'm sorry.
It was Warner Brothers.
I'm sorry.
But thank you for looking that up.
Yeah.
So this seems to happen to Tom Cruise movies. And so then the DVD came out and they changed the title on the DVD cover at first to Live, Die, Repeat, which was a tagline of the movie previously. And then later they changed it back to Edge of Tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I remember being at CinemaCon 2 years ago and they revealed the title for the new Mission Impossible. And I remember thinking, that's a long title. I mean, really, at the end of the day, only 6 words, but Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's a mouthful. And you ask a very interesting question. Does Paramount think that the title and having Part 1 is what made the film underperform? I mean, it still did do better. Ray, if you can look up the total box office for Dead Reckoning Part 1. I mean, it still made money, but it kind of underperformed for the franchise. Was it because it said Part 1?
$567 million.
$567 million. All right, so crack the $500 million mark, whatever. This is down from some of the previous installments. Remember, no Mission Impossible film ever made $1 billion, so it's not like it was way underperforming. I actually think the Part 1 tag probably did turn some people off. I don't know. It's not the reason the film made 560 instead of 760. But just putting Part 1 in the title, you're kind of telling the audience, you're going to come to our movie
whether you like it or not.
But you're not going to get the full movie.
Yeah.
You're not getting the full story. It's kind of what they're telling the audience. Again, do I think that was a major factor in it only making $560 million? No, but did it turn some people off? Maybe. And so as far as that part of your question where you're asking, do I think this will affect the title of the second one? Yeah, I don't think the next one's going to be titled Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. It'll be called Mission Impossible AI Look Out or something like that. Like
it reminds me of whenever a boxing match that everyone's looking forward to, whatever, ends in a draw. Like when it's like going to a movie knowing there's no conclusion was when because this was my first Mission Impossible movie that I've ever seen. I even asked you guys before we went to go see it, do I really need to go watch this since there's a second one coming out and I just want to watch it all at one time and things like that. So it did kind of bother me that. And the reason why Spider-Verse probably changed their name too. It'll help the next movie for sure, I think. not having part 2 attached to it.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Now, I still see some people there's still people out there who believe this total myth. Well, the thing that killed Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was that it opened the week before Barbenheimer. Really? Because Barbie and Oppenheimer opened on the exact same week, and there was plenty of money to go around.
Yeah, I think it's a derivative of that. I don't think that's the correct thing. What I do think had just a small impact, for me at least, and some others that I talked to, is that it only ran in IMAX for a week, and people wanted to specifically see Dead Reckoning in IMAX, and then it was gone.
I think some people did.
That's
but
a small.
Again, at the same time, here's the thing. If it was the Barbenheimer thing, then that would have meant it would have had a huge opening weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And then just died.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
No.
It didn't have a massive opening weekend, right? So anyway, there's that. So you know what? Normally I'm like, hey, when you make a choice, just stick with it. You called it, Edge of Tomorrow, just stick with it. You called the Mission Impossible Dead one, stick with it. But I actually think in this circumstance, I think it's probably a good move.
Sure.
And I think, therefore, they will name the next film something different. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Anyway, Chris, you heard about this. What do you think of it?
I think they absolutely are going to name this other movie something else. And this all makes sense. This movie didn't perform as well as they thought it was going to, as much as they wanted it to. And also, Part 2 has been pushed back by yet another year.
Yeah.
So when you have your Part 1 and your Part 2 spread so far across, it's not a club sandwich. I don't want a whole bunch of time and layers in between there. I want the movies close together if it's Part 1 and Part 2. So the original timeline was June 28th of 2024. It's now May 23rd of 2025. That's quite a bit of distance from the original one coming out. Not the original
Strikes
one,
will
the
do
latest
that.
one. Absolutely, they will. But for your audience, too, and especially your average movie-going audience who wasn't keeping up with the strikes, they're kind of going to go, well, where's that movie? Part 1, when did that come out? Especially if they didn't see it the first time around. You're going to lose interest.
Yeah.
You got to have a new title in here. And if Dead Reckoning was the one that didn't get butts in seats, Dead Reckoning Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, isn't going to do much either.
That's a really good point. You almost want to disassociate from the first one a little bit.
Exactly. Get a new name.
I know I am looking forward to watching it again, though, when it hits Paramount Plus. I did enjoy it.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah,
it's
I had a
super
good
fun.
time with it.
And Haley Atwell, oh my gosh, she's so good in this.
And Nebula's name, Palm Clemente.
Oh,
Loved her in this.
Yeah.
I was so glad at the end of the movie when they say, "Oh, she survived." I'm like, yes.
It's amazing seeing her do more than Mantis, because that was my first view of Palm, and man, she's tremendous.
Yeah, she's awesome. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.